Hey everybody. Okay, so I'm hoping that you all watched my announcement part. We're just going to jump right into it. If you have any questions or concerns, just leave comments for me and I will get back to you guys ASAP. So now where I left you was we had these two pockets just with this piece done. And we had these set in there, okay? So basically all I did was I covered the front. This is ribbon. This is one of the chipboard pieces, one of the little tags that comes out. I probably will eventually put this on, you know, because it's, I will put it on like black cardstock or something. I made these really cute tags. One says eat me and one says drink me. And basically that was the little die cut that they had that said the words. And then I took off from the, you know, from the cover, the back cover where it has all of the, you know, one of these in here, I think, where it has all the pages that come in the kit, you know, so that particular page where all of those little pictures, and apparently, where all the little pictures are. Oh, well, I don't know. I must have done something with it. But anyway, so I just cut out some of those to make my little squares. I made the black the size that I wanted to go from one end of the little designed chipboard die cut piece, and then I folded over, just cut to the right size and folded over the. I don't have any more. I've used them all. Oh no, this. So this piece is this piece. And this piece was something else. I don't remember which one. I think it's part of the teacups piece. But anyway, so that's where I got those, because they're very small print, so they look, you know, they look correct. But anyway, so that's all I did. I did add a little piece in here just to cover up the inner workings of sticking these two together. And then you flip this one and you have another pretty scene, and then again just covered the inner workings, and then nothing on the backs. But you can get, I mean, if you want to put a 4x6 on the front, you can, but the thought is you can get 1, 2, and 3, so 6 pictures just on this little bit. You can put pictures here. I have not created the tags yet. So you guys remember, some things I wait until we do the walkthrough. So you have some surprises. Now, how I made the, when I ended off, I said we were going to make these. So how I made these was, I took these pieces. Now, the kit that I had was single copies, you know, the other kit. So I didn't have 2 double pages. So it had the red, just the small little red hearts and red, were a whole sheet. So, because it was just the single-sided. And so that's what I used here. So the hearts are teeny tiny, but they're still hearts. And then we have one on the front as well. I had a die cut that made this little black doily looking piece. So, and then I had another smaller circle punch, and I circle punched out one of the hearts off of the card. As you can see, I just cut out one of the hearts, 2 of the hearts, on the cards, and then I put a little black posting in between. for the spacing underneath, all I did was take my string, and I think I thought I had a little piece somewhere, but basically you take your string and you tie it a knot, pull, then bring it back around this way, tie it in a knot, pull tight, and then you bring it back up this way and tie it again. And you can double knot it if you want to. And then just cut off both strings so that they don't show up underneath here. And I have easy access to get my my string underneath. And I did that the same for this one. It's just that I left the long piece to be the closure. Okay? So this piece just comes right on through here because this is getting glued down to my tunnels. So that is totally covered. This piece, I had to, I grabbed a piece of the black cardstock, and let's see, I made it. Let me get it on the thing here. It was probably a remnant from something, but it was 7 3/4 or 19.7. I scored it at a 1/2 inch and then again at 5/8. So I have a 1/8 inch gusset. Now you really needed to have that 1/8 inch gusset because this piece is folded over this main piece. So there was quite a bit of thickness there to get around so that this would lay nicely. So you do need that 1/8 of an inch in there. And then I just had it, I wanted it to show these pockets. So once it's folded, I have it at basically 7 1/8 or 18. Pretty spot on 18. Oh, and the, let's see. Yeah. So 10, 15, 16. So I scored at 16 inches and then 17, 18, 19, then 19 inches. So that, not inches, centimeters, sorry. If you're trying to do this in centimeters. I probably would be better at telling you that this time than I was the first time. But anywho, and you guys knew I showed you that I wanted this card sitting there. Well, I put this brad through this postcard, which I just squared off onto the black, okay? And the black is the same width as our page. And, excuse me, and I brought it all the way through to, you know, to this side and opened the prongs. Then I was free to go ahead and put my heart pages on. This was, it's this size because this piece, let's see, it's this page, and I wanted her to be looking up, and this is what is on the sheet, but I had lost from the first time I used this sheet. I didn't get these used. So Wonderland is better when you're completely lost. You won't really see those when I have something in this pocket. And I wanted to make room for these, so I started here and went around her face and then just came down at an angle. So you can do this pocket any way you want. If you want to shorten it up, and just because that's another thing I had thought of, is just kind of doing it right to here and having it just kind of slide in this way instead of this way. So totally up to you. I actually wrapped this piece of ribbon all the way around. And I believe there was a reason I had to do it on this side, but I do like that it's wrapped around, and I have the seam right here, and there will be some type of decoration put on that. Again, you'll see that in the walkthrough. So this pocket was 1 inch longer, and again, the width for the whole thing is 7 3/8. That's, you know, all of these, the width for all of this is 7 3/8. This pocket starts out at 5 inches, or 12.7, and then it ends up at 2 3/4, or 7. So, you know, you can start it here, make a point here for that 2 3/4, do your cut. I cut out her first. Actually, it went this way. Then I figured out how I wanted this to be placed, because I wanted these. So then I put a piece of black paper. I made this piece. Let's see, what is this piece? This piece is, okay, this piece, the actual designer paper is 2 3/4. The pocket itself is 2 7/8. So not much more. So the pocket itself is 7, kind of 7.5. Okay, so hopefully that helps, guys. But that's what I did there. And then I just placed this little piece right up here to finish it off. And I think that is the story for that one. And I put a little, I've got the little rabbit in his garb with the heart and the diamond and the square, the club and the, you know, he's got his little paraphernalia on, and he's blowing his horn. I don't know how well this camera is going to pick up stuff, but anyway. So that was that one, guys. And I'm trying to think. So we have gone through this one, and where are you? No, not that one. Okay, so we had 3. 1, 2, and which one did I do? I think it was this one. Okay, so we've done these 3, I believe. If I'm wrong, you let me know, because I haven't actually rewatched all of them. I just rewatched what I knew. I knew I had to make some thinner pages. Now, this one starts out with your base mat, which is the 7 3/8 by 8 1/4. Okay, so 7 3/8 by 8 1/4 is what all of the base for these pages is started on. Then I took 2 pieces that were 8 1/4 and added them on here. This one I just did the 1 score mark and added it on. This one I did 1/8 of an inch. So I had a 1/2 inch, and then I had the 5/8 inch from the inside edge. So this page is with all of the goodie on it. Let's see. It is trying to. It's like 7 7/8. Yeah, because here is 3/8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 7 7/8 or 20 centimeters. And then I did my first score mark at the 1/2 inch, or like 18.9, and then the next score mark like 18.5, and so it was a 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch. All right, so at that point I just have the 2 flaps, and I make these 2 flaps, and I need to go ahead and starting to get a little more. Okay, so these 2 flaps, now I used the flap, actual flap, to make the border on, but of course you can add it. I'm not putting paper on the back side, so if you were going to add it, you would, if you're going to do it exactly like I am, I would add it. Oh, I'm yawning again. I don't know what it is about getting on video and all of a sudden I'm yawning. So add, if you're just going to have the strips, add it before you put your paper down. These 2 are chipboard pieces, and this was some of the wood chipboard things that I had just in my stash. We could have easily made this a little pocket, but I didn't because I felt like this was enough. But a great spot for a photo. And then you've got your photo here, and then this is a little pocket. So find something here that I can slide in there to show you. So, you know, it is open. It's just glued on the 3 sides. There's no fold to it, and there's no black paper. It's just a piece of the cardstock. This was the stuff I printed and then added antique linen to. This one I did in the circular motion. Love it. This is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, cut in half, and I believe I did, nope, I did not cut it down. It's 8.5 by 11. Now, to make the Tweedledee and Tweedledum tea pocket, I thought that was very apropos. So, what I did is I took a piece of paper, black cardstock, that was 5 inches long, okay, and 5 inches long is 12.7 centimeters this way. It was okay, so it's like 7 3/8. So it's 8 3/8 because I have a 1/2 inch on both sides. I may not have cut it down. I may have just done it, and so one side's a little larger than the other. Then I took my Tweedledee and my Tweedledum. I figured out what paper I wanted behind them. And I glued down just their feet, okay? Then I had folded over these 2 sides, and I had folded over this side. So all 3 sides had a 1/2 inch flap. I then cut around the Tweedledee to wherever I thought I wanted it. Now, this piece of the pocket is approximately 2 3/8, 2.5, right in there, okay? So you guys can do it. If you have a piece of paper that you really like, I think that's why I have it, the size I have it, is because that is how wide this piece was. So, so I continued cutting until I got to the point where I knew this was going to fit. And what I did was I laid this down and I made little little marks right next to these guys, just past where the paper would be, so that I could kind of tell where I wanted to stop cutting. So right here at the corners, there's a little dot, but it's just covered up, okay? And then I just cut across, straight across this way. So this whole little section got cut out. And then I decided I really wanted Tweedledum and Tweedledee to be separated. So I went ahead, and there's actually nothing in between the two sets of feet here. So I cut in and went all the way around and then cut back out. So these two guys basically are standing alone. I had not actually installed the pocket when I was doing this. I just had the piece of paper on my desk, okay? So the Tweedledee and Tweedledum were just glued at their feet on just this one little piece of paper, okay? Then after I finished this pocket, and I went ahead and I glued down this paper here. It's a solid sheet, but prior to gluing it down, I took and folded over the end pieces so they are underneath this paper. So that just gives us free range coming through here. You know, there's nothing there to catch my stuff. Okay, so hopefully that, if you fold it around and it bows the paper, don't worry about it. Glue this down completely and then glue the pocket down just like we kind of normally do, because with this 8.5 by 11 folded in half, you still have plenty of room, even with the 1/2 inch flaps up on top of this. So it really doesn't matter which way you go with it. It's whatever floats your boat, people. And whoa, wait a minute. Before I glued this down, I think I had told you, I already had put these on. Okay, so now everything is covered up and this just looks fantastic. I'm just loving it. So now on the two sides, we'll start with this side here. So on this side here, I had this piece of paper, and it is about 1/4 inch longer. I mean, I had just a tidbit. I took this piece of paper, and let me show you what I did. So here's a scrap paper, and let's say this is going to be what I want to frame. So that's what I did. Even though this one's bigger, it's still the same. I put it on my paper, and I knew, wait a minute, before I do that, I knew this was what I wanted to use. I get myself, just like if I was going to cut this piece and glue it down. So you cut it to the right length, okay? So that is a piece of copy paper right there that I cut to the exact length I wanted. Then I put this where I had, I think this was, this is 3/4 inch all the way around. Okay, so I made a line with my ruler. My pencil right here. So I went 3/4 down on several different spots, and did this way, 3/4 down on several different spots, and then I made my lines. Yeah, and I didn't get them really true accurate, but So I made my lines. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So then I had my 3/4 of an inch all the way around, and this was in the center. Okay. Let me think. I knew I needed to do 3/4 of a length. If I was actually using this sheet, I would have to measure in exactly how much space, at least 1/8 of an inch on top of that piece, and then that would mean that I would have to have my frame at 1.5 inches. Okay, so then I would have made this 1.5 inches in all the way around, cut it out this size first, measure in your 1.5 inches, and then do it with that. But I just hope I'm explaining this to you. This piece, maybe if I give you that, it will make it better. Okay, this piece was 6¼ inches wide this way, and it was 9 inches tall. Okay, so 6¼ is 15.9, and 9 inches is 22.8, right in there, centimeters. So that's what I was working with. Then you get the outside part of the frame by making your mark to cut your page out. Exactly how you would want this to be framed. Let me go ahead and cut it out. Come on, get out of my way. Okay, so there I have my piece. Now I have 6¼ let's see, 6 and okay, so we're doing 3/4 of an inch on that side, and 3/4 of an inch on that side, 3/4 of an inch on this side, and 3/4 of an inch on this side. Then I took all my small pieces and I made sure that I at least covered all of this space from the pencil drawn line to the very end. Then it was copy paper. This is actually cardstock. I then cut out at the 3/4 of an inch mark just to make sure that everything was straight. And what I did was I flipped it over, because some of this stuff did go out past. I didn't worry about it. Now you can take this once you figure out where your lines are, and you can cut that out. Then you can go and glue your items down, and then just put it right to the edge of the paper on the inside, and then you don't have to worry about cutting it. Or you can leave it whole, make sure that you're covering. You can line it up to the outside if you want to, it doesn't matter, but you make sure you're covering that whole space, glue them down. And then I flipped it over and measured in 3/4 of an inch, both the top and the bottom, and I took my X-Acto knife and cut it out with my ruler. So that is what I did here. I inked all the way around, and I only glued the very outside of the frame. This is glued down. Let me think. Now I did this in a little bit of a way here. I took this piece and I glued it here, and that was it. I just glued it down right here. Then I took this piece, the dots, and I slid it under, made it where it was going to lay down. I let this dry first, though. God, let it dry, let it dry. And then I slid this down and I got it sized right where I wanted it. And I picked it up and just got some glue down. And then I kind of came at it from the sides a little bit on both sides. Then I continued to glue the outside edge of the frame all around it. So you can get something into all sides, into the corner, however you want to do it. So you'll be able to slide your photos in here. You'll be able to slide notes in here, whatever you want. I thought it was really cool. So I was very happy with the way that turned out. On this side, now I wanted to use this Cheshire Cat. I had already used him, but I thought, you know, we're just going to bring him back in. So I have the little girl. You know, you don't want to ruin these beautiful pictures. You want to keep them going. This is just glued at the very edge, so you can get a little note or tag in there. I'm going to put this up here. We are all mad here, and this tag will fit into this spot. Again, that's something that I will do for the actual walkthrough. Basically here I used all of my little bits and, well, bigger bits and pieces that I had. I cut down on this sheet where the Cheshire Cat is, so that I just kind of had the cat. I had this piece already cut, so that also made a difference as to how wide this way it was going to be, because I knew I could just put this piece down. It wasn't long enough to go all the way down, so that's what this is. But again, it's repeating the dots. So the dots are, you know, across the whole piece. So this went down. This little pocket, again, I cut around the girl. Then I glued her onto a larger piece of black cardstock. And I cut a black edge around the girl. Little extra work, but boy, it really makes it look so much nicer. I left black lines around everything so that, you know, it all kind of stood by itself on its own. This is large enough for a 4x6, so it's perfect spot, and you're not going to lose any of your artistic pieces. So that's the inside of this book. Now, if we close this one, we have a belly band right in the center. This was a strip that I had available, you know, just from the leftover pieces. And it is 1 3/4 inch wide, for those of you who want to know that. And that is basically like 4.5 centimeters. This is not decorated, but this is what is closing these two flaps. So I had the belly band. So I knew that if I centered this belly band, I could use it as a closure, and I could add a few more places that I could get photos in. I had this sheet, so I knew this was going to go down first. Oh, it feels like that is raised up a little bit. Now the belly band fits around this sheet. So I made sure I scored a 1/2 inch. I laid it down with the 1/2 inch around the sheet, and then made my pencil mark over here right past, I mean immediately past the edge of the base page here. And then I scored that one, and then it folds around nice and smooth and flat. Okay? I am going to have to put a little glue on this. So I still haven't glued my card piece down yet, but I have the belly band on it because I knew that I was going to do a belly band, but I wanted to have something with a little, boy, that did not catch much right there. Okay. But I knew that I wanted to add a couple of flaps. So, let me find my, here we go. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure I got that. It's like that whole, I must have held that up just a little too long or something, trying to line it up with everything else. That glue dried before I really stuck it down. So we got it good now. You know, when there's glue coming out the ends, you did well. Okay. All right. So, I went ahead and I had these pieces. I think I did have to cut them down a little bit, but what I cut them down to was 4 1/8. And I think this one, yeah, they're both 4 1/8 by 6 1/2. Whoops. And then I just scored at the 1/2 inch mark, glued it onto the back of my card page, staying away from the score mark, okay? But I pulled it all the way up to the top of this piece. And then in the decorating, I did add a pocket on this side. So this is a nice pocket, but you still have room. You can slide a whole picture in. Let's see. Oh, I don't have my 4x6 card got laid down. Oh, here it is. I do believe. Wow, what a mess. This has really set me. This has really set me up for. Yeah, you have to cut it down a little bit, but you can get a 4x6 on there. But you know, usually if you're cutting that much off, you can usually somehow cut about that much off and still get a nice 4x4 on there. This side, you'll get the whole 4x6. You can leave, which I did. I thought I didn't, but I did. I left that it's just the piece of paper, but I can add a little note or do the whole picture or just do like a 4x4 and have a note there. So that is with both of these. And the same with both of these. So they're exactly the same, just a little different here. This is the big polka dots that I printed out, and then this was my washi tape. I had done this already on something else. So, and then this was some of the paper that I printed out as well. And then this piece here is both sides getting done with my heart-shaped punch. So I don't know if you can actually see that because it is kind of busy. But anyway, so this front piece here, I had these strips. Remember, I was cutting off the strips off of all the different pages so that I could have them for, you know, this kind of thing. And then I did the little heart piece. This is one of the die cuts, the plastic ones. So you can put a photo in here. You can put a photo or a tag in here. Or of course, you know, you have this and up here. This is a pocket down here, so it is open all the way across. So you can do quite a bit with this page. But it's kind of like she's sitting in the living room thinking about she wants to go and do something else, something more exciting. So anyway, I hope that this one makes sense to you. And then I just do this for the closure to keep those closed. And then we have, no, there's no magnets. We have that. We have our Tweedledee and Tweedledum tea pocket. And of course I will decorate that. These will stay blank for, you know, I don't want to thicken it up. I want you to have room for your photos and not have to worry. So that is that one. Again, I've not used any magnets in this one. So I think I'm going to stop it there, guys. So we got these two done. If I left something out or didn't make it clear to you, you let me know. And I will come back and answer that question or rework the whole page so you can see it from start to finish. You just let me know what you need, because I want you guys, you know, it's not your fault my tech went poof. And those of you that are working on this, I don't want you to be out in the cold, so to speak, because I love that you want to do my designs. Okay, so there's two. We'll move on next time, guys. Bye. Thanks for following me. Please leave me a comment and let me know that this is going to work for you guys. And I hope it's a positive. I know it's not conventional, but it's what we've got. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.